In this video, we're going to talk about logarithmic equations and how to solve them. So if they aren't condensed, you are going to condense them into one logarithm using your properties that we talked about in the previous sections. You're going to use your one-to-one property, meaning you can say if log base b of m equals log base b of n, then you can set them equal to each other, drop the logs, and solve. But make sure you're checking for extraneous solutions. So the bases have to be the same in order for this to work. So the bases here are the same, so we can just drop the logs and say 5x plus 9 equals 6x. And so then we get x equals 9. And I'm not going to show all my steps in solving the equations, because at this point we should know how to solve an equation. So then here for 3, my bases are the same, so I can say 6 minus 3w equals negative 2w. So w equals 6. But let's plug that back in and check it. So I have log base 9 of 6 minus 3 times 6 equals log base 9 of negative 2 times 6. So that's going to give me log base 9 of negative 12 equals log base 9 of negative 12. So this doesn't work, so I don't have a solution here because logs cannot be negative. Like, you cannot plug a negative number into a log and get out an output. So that is no solution. So 5 here, I need to condense this first, just the left side, not the right side. The right side's fine. So we need to condense this into log base 7 of 4 cubed equals log base 7, that's supposed to be a 7 of 4a minus 8. So now I can say 4 cubed equals 4a minus 8. So 64 equals 4a minus 8. And when you solve that, you get 18. And if you plug it back in, it does work. So 7 here, I need to simplify. I need to condense it. So I have log base 6 of 25 to the 1/2 power equals log base 6 of 23 minus 4w. Well, 25 to the 1/2 power is square root of 25 equals 23 minus 4w. So 5 equals 23 minus 4w. So if we go in and solve, we get w equals 9/2. And fractions are a-okay, so that's a solution. Last but not least of this kind, before we move on to a new kind, we don't have to simplify anything here, like condense anything. So I have m squared equals 18 minus 7m. But I do need to get everything to one side. So we'll keep my m squared positive, plus 7m minus 18 equals 0. So then I want to determine what multiplies to negative 18 and adds to 7. Well, that's going to be 9 and 2. 9 and negative 2. So m equals negative 9 and m equals 2. And that's okay because when I plug them in, the negative 9 in, it'll simplify to a positive, so it's okay. Yep. So those are both solutions. They both work if you plug them back in. All right. So those are your log equals log. These next ones are log equals some number. So what we're going to do is we're going to condense or isolate the logarithm. Then you're going to switch it from log form to exponential form and then solve. So the logarithm in number 11 is isolated. So I'm going to rewrite this into 2 to the 6th. 2 to the 6th equals x minus 4, because that's how you switch it from logarithmic form to exponential form. And then so 64 equals x minus 4. So then x is 68, and you do need to plug it back in and check it, but it does work in this case. So I need to condense this logarithm first, since there be two base 10 logarithms being added. I can say log base 10 of 2x times x minus 5 equals 2. So then I can rewrite this into exponential form. Since the base is 10, I can say 10 squared equals, and then I'm going to distribute 2x squared minus 10x. So, and then I'm going to move it all to one side. So 10 squared is 100, so I'm going to say 0 equals 2x squared minus 10x minus 100. And then let's factor it. We can take out a 2 out of all of it. I have x squared minus 5x minus 50. So then 0 equals 2 times x minus 10. Helps if I can write. X plus 5. So then x equals 10 and x equals negative 5. And only one of these works, only x equals 10 works, because when I multiply negative 5 times 2, I'm going to get a negative 10, and we can't do a negative 10 log, so 10 is your only solution. And last but not least, we need to, once again, rewrite this thing, condense it. So log base 6 of, and I'm just going to go ahead and distribute, so x squared plus 9x equals 2. So then I can say 6 squared equals x squared plus 9x. So 36 equals x squared plus 9x. So x squared plus 9x minus 36 equals 0. So I can factor it. X plus 12 and x minus 3. So x equals negative 12 and x equals 3. Well, negative 12 is not going to work because it's negative and I don't have any, I'm not squaring it, I'm just adding 9, which will still give me a negative, and the x will just be negative. So 3 is your only solution. And that's how you solve logarithmic equations.